Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, bonjour, hola. Thanks for being here. It's so good to be with you. I call this 10 at 10, where I come at you every day for approximately 10 minutes, usually more, approximately 10 a.m. Eastern, usually a little bit later. And we do it Monday through Friday most days. Sometimes we don't. So there's a little bit of unpredictability, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of variety, a little bit of suspense, a little bit of surprise, a little bit of fun, a little bit of song and dance, a little bit of everything. But we're here in the now, and we are present in this moment, and it's grateful to be with you. If you're here, you can share where you're from, and you can share this. You can share this? All you have to do is a share button, and you just click the share button on Facebook, which we're live on Facebook. We're also live on Instagram. We're also archived on YouTube. We're also a podcast. You look up Brian Piergrossi podcast, and then you'll find me as a podcast. So lots of ways to tune in. The subject today, the question today, the inquiry, are you ready for this? Do thoughts create reality? Do thoughts create reality? Everybody's excited to delve into this question. They're waiting. The anticipation has been tangible. The tension, you could cut it with a knife. People are on edge to find out the answer to this most essential question. It was actually posed by Jane, who's with us right now. Hi, Jane. Jane in the UK posed this question to me yesterday. So that's our subject. That's our theme. This space is a space to not only hear me or feel me, but to feel the presence of everyone that's sharing this space with us live right now. And there's a what I call a unified field that comes in together when we're present together in this space together, and we have the potential, the ability to tune in to the same space together in the same moment, wherever we are in the world, whatever place we're at in the world, whatever we are geographically. Time is an illusion. Space is an illusion. So we're here in this moment, and when we're present, when we're focused, when our attention is here, wonderful things happen, amazing things happen, magical things happen, miraculous things happen. So, are you paying attention? That's a real question. Are you paying attention? If you're paying attention, then make a comment in the comment section and say, yes. Are you tuned in? Are you present? The only way to receive back all there is to receive back in this world, in this life, the only way to receive all of the joy, the insight, the wisdom, the inspiration, the magic miracles, is to be present. If you're not present, then as the saying goes, life will pass you by. Life will pass you by. If you're present, if you're tuned in, if you're locked in, then you start to notice things. You start to appreciate things. Remember, we talked about appreciation yesterday. What does appreciation mean? Appreciation means to have a sense of noticing it, being grateful for it, and in that noticing and in that gratitude, it expands, it appreciates, right? So all this comes from being present in the moment. You start to have insights, you start to have inspirations, you start to see things in ways you never could have imagined or dreamed of or noticed or expected. The adventure of life starts to open. Here and now, in this moment, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. There's nothing else. There's no other moment but this moment. There's no other now but this now. The wow of the now is here in this moment always. So there's gratitude for me being able to share a space with you. There's gratitude for all of you joining us right now from around the world, because we're creating this vibrational frequency that allows whatever comes through here to come through. And your questions are always welcome. Your comments are always welcome. Your participation is welcome. Do thoughts create reality? I know a lot of you are going to say yes. Thoughts create reality, right? Most of you will say yes, thoughts create your reality. Correct? Yes or no? Is that what you feel? Do you feel like thoughts create reality? Welcome, Maria. Welcome to you and John. Welcome to those two Marias. Jane's listening avidly. Love that word, avidly. Welcome to Linda, Zenka, Jody. Do thoughts create reality? I say no. I say thoughts do not create your reality. And the reason I say thoughts do not create your reality is because of this. I was going to say simple, but it's actually not very simple. This particular reason. There is no reality. There is no reality. There is no such thing as reality. As John Mayer, the great John Mayer, once sang, I just found out there's no such thing as the real thing. It's just a lie, you gotta rise above. It's just a lie, you've got to rise above this idea of reality. It's just a lie, you've got to rise above. This idea that you have to deal with reality, there is no reality. So even the distinction between these are my thoughts over here, this is reality over here, no. What's the connection between my thoughts and reality? No. There's no reality. You could say there's only your thoughts, right? If you want to, we could say, you can say this a number of different ways, but let's just say the thoughts, the beliefs, the ideology, the stories is what we perceive to be reality. My thoughts, my beliefs, my stories is what I perceive to be reality. There's no objective reality. There's just the story that I'm creating, that we are creating, that we are co-creating, and then perceiving. So we're characters in the dream, we're characters in the story that we have authored. So then you might say, well, if that's true, why is my life so crappy? And why is it so horrific? And why are all these terrible things happening to me? Because you haven't realized this truth yet. That's the only reason. Because you haven't realized this truth yet. When you realize this truth, everything changes. When you realize this truth, everything changes. It's a game changer. It's waking up. It's realizing who you really are and what you're really not. It's the spiritual liberation. Let's look at some of the comments we have happening. Reality is totally an illusion. Right. So illusion, when we say illusion, let's be clear. I want to be clear because people think illusion is a negative thing or a bad thing. And I don't say it in that way at all. I think life is beautiful. Life is sweet. Life is an expression. Everything that we're encountering is a reflection of the one divine infinite light, which is the essence of who we are and what we are. So an illusion, not in the sense that you have to escape from it or get away from it or avoid it. As I often say, if you're trying to avoid something, it must mean you think it's real, right? If you're trying to avoid something, it must mean you think it's real. So there's no need to avoid anything once you realize it's just a dream, right? When you wake up in the dream and you realize it's a dream, it's not a big deal. And there's a potential to dream whatever you like for fun, to play whatever game you want to play for fun, and to realize that we are part of co-creating the dream together. And I think that's, if I look at all the retreats I've done and the events I've done and the gatherings, the satsangs, the meditations, the workshops, the classes, I'm not always sure what to call them, but whatever these things are that I've been doing, the podcasts, there's a fundamental truth, there's a fundamental intention or a fundamental realization that underlies all of it, which is that inviting people to come together with the intention, the realization, the awakened consciousness that we can create, we can dream whatever we want here together. So when you come to a retreat that I do and there's like 8 people or 10 people or 20 people or whatever amount of people, and we have our own little spot, you know, in the forest, in the beauty of nature, in the beauty of the mountains, wherever it is, right? And it's like, hey, here we are. You know, we came all this way. We came to this place. We came to this point in the world together. We made some. It wasn't easy to get here, and we can create, we can dream whatever we want here together. What do we want to create? We have 3 days together. We have 4 days together. We have, in Italy, we're going to have 7 days together, right? In Mallorca, we're going to have 3 days together. It's like we can create whatever we want together. What do we want to create? And you start to be able to live your life that way, right? But it's when you can do it with a group of people, like this is my group, this is my community, this is my tribe, these are my people. We're here for this amount of time. So, you know, create a container, as the saying goes, right? You create a container of we have 12 people for 4 days. We can create whatever we want. What do we want to create? Right? And then it's the same thing here, right? However many people are online with me right now, like, what do we want to create? Right? So then you have a family unit, right? What do we want to create? You have a community. I know the community's been broken down so much in the Western culture, but to regain that as a community and say, what do we want to create together? Anything is possible. We can dream anything into being. What do we want to create? But all this is only possible when you start to realize who you really are. So this whole thing of a material world, of being a material person, all that has to break down. And when I say break down, usually it is a breakdown, right? So this idea that, oh, there's this kind of glorious, graceful, sweet awakening that happens, and it's very blissful, and you know, angels arrive. No, for most people, it's horrifying. It's a breakdown. It's literally like everything that you're clinging to is you're losing. But everything you're clinging to is an illusion. right? So when you finally, when you have to break down, the breakdown is the breakthrough. So when you have the breakdown, the breakthrough, and you break open, and then everything becomes possible. So just recognize that if you're in a difficult situation, if you're in a station that's you feel like you're losing everything, you feel like um, you don't know who you are. There's fear of. I know Jane, you talked about a fear of dying. This really is a dying. It's really like a death. You know, we call it sometimes the ego death, right? So there's the sense of really losing everything that you thought was true, everything that you're attached to, everything you're identified with. And in that breakdown, there's a breaking open. There's a breaking open. There's a breaking open to the field of infinite possibility, because you were stuck in this little box and you're trying to cling to this little box. But why are you trying to cling to that little box, right? When that box breaks down, it's like the line in my book from my book, The Wild and Now. And the line goes something like, when the pillars of my limited mind collapsed, it was then that the roof opened. And for the first time, I could take in the stars. So I invite you to take in the stars, you know. Maria says, your retreat I went to was the best retreat I ever went on. Thank you for that, Maria. And I would love to see you again at a retreat soon. Jane says, so how is it that I can think something and it shows up in a reality outside of me? It doesn't show up in a reality outside of you. Why are you saying that? Outside of you, outside of your physical body? Is there an attachment or identification to the body as being you? Right? It doesn't show up outside of you. It shows up in your awareness. So it shows up in whatever you're experiencing, shows up inside your awareness. You are the awareness. You are the awareness. Like kind of ground into that. Who am I? I am the awareness. 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 Who are you? You are the awareness. And he said, I think it can be fun to play in the creation of creating our reality, as long as we realize that reality is and is not. Yes. All right, y'all. I think that's it. I was telling Annie before we got on here, it's like I'm trying to like use this because this is just a general audience, this podcast, this Facebook Live, Instagram Live. So I've been trying to just kind of have sort of gentle, easily accessible general material that can support people, but I just kind of can't resist going deep. It just doesn't, it's kind of boring just to talk about like, you know, these little simple little boring human things that change your life. It's just got to go deep once in a while. And if, you know, if people can't all grasp it, or they can't all get it, or they can't follow it, You just got to keep tuning in, right? I promise you, you will. I promise you, you'll get it. You'll fully realize it. You'll fully access it. You'll fully actualize it. You'll fully realize it. There's no other way to go except into the reality of who we really are and to express it in the world. So I assure you that, on this deepest level, we already realize the essence of who we really are. And then it's just a matter of kind of supporting each other to realize it on this plane of existence together. So that's why we're here. So if you want to plug in deeper with me, I do personal sessions with folks. So just private message me if you want a personal session. If you're interested in the retreats that we have coming up that I mentioned earlier, you can private message me for that. We have one coming up in Mallorca, Spain, one in Gainesville, Florida. Italy one is sold out, but Mallorca, Spain is available. Gainesville, Florida is available. And I'll be doing some things in Asheville coming up. And we have a group, an online group, in about an hour. And I know a lot of you are not a part of that yet for some reason, but thebiglow.com/online. It's a really awesome group of people that we meet once a week on Wednesdays. And I do group sessions with them. And it's been really powerful. It's really been a really inspiring way to connect with people and see people's lives transform together. So thebiglow.com/online. We do group coaching sessions every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. usually, which is in about an hour. So check that link. There's a 7-day free trial. Check it out. Nothing to lose. I wish you a beautiful, magical, miraculous rest of your day. Remember to keep your sphincter loose, like we discussed yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday, you can check out to see the fun we were having yesterday. And I really appreciate y'all, and I will see you soon.